German. Okay, hello everybody, and welcome to Crafty Hour 37. So I hope you guys had a great time with Diane today and watched her live. And if not, remember you can go back to Clipper Street's Facebook page and watch the recording, and the recording will be up on there. So happy Thursday night, everybody. Good evening. Hello. I see people jumping on and signing on. So we're going to do two different kind of cards today, and both of them are kind of interactive. And I love the interactive kind of folio thing that Diane did today too. So that was super cute. So if you didn't get a chance, make sure to go back and watch that one. So hello everybody. I see everybody signing on. Lori and Ann, Jan, Kathy, Candy. Hello. Hopefully everybody has their kit in hand. This is Crafty Hour 37. This was the kit that we had. It was kind of a springy themed one with this amazing embossing folder. And holy cow, this embossing folder is big too. So I love that you could focus on certain areas of this embossing folder if you wanted. So hopefully everybody grabbed their kit. If not, I know Scrapbook-N-Memories is down to the last two kits. We have two available. And I think Clipper Street, as of this morning, still had a couple kits available on those. So if you didn't grab them, make sure to grab one. I love this embossing folder. I used it here as a deboss, and then I used, actually both of them are debossed. I used both of them as a deboss. Funny thing. But that's the cool thing. The embossed and the debossed both look cool. So we're going to play with those. So for my cards, what we're going to do, I don't know if we'll get all the way through this one, but definitely I want to show you the technique, and then you guys know how to make shaker cards. So we'll see where we get. But this one, looky here, fun shaker card. And we're going to be playing with some embossing techniques and some waxes on that. And I just love the colors. I felt like those popped really, really nice. Ooh, let me put my apron on, because I'm going to be using waxes and stuff, so I don't want to get it all over me, because I am a messy crafter. I wear my craft supplies. Okay, and then the other one we're going to do is going to be a magic, they call it a magic billfold, is what they call. So it's this little guy here, and it opens up so you can put a gift card. You can slide a gift card, some money in there, and then you can open it the other way, and look, ta-da! The gift card changes, like magic, the location. Is that not adorable? And of course you could do it this way too. If you wanted to do landscape, you could totally do one that goes that way too. So you could do either way. Okay. That's kind of the way I did my my sloppy copy. There's my sloppy copy one that I just did with ugly stuff. Okay. All right, so are you ready to get started? Oh, I loved it. I just thought it's something kind of fun. We haven't done in a while. So let's do that. So I did post homework this time, because I know it's very rare that I post homework. But I felt like there were a lot of pieces to this, and I wanted to make sure we at least got through the interactive part of this card. So I told you to grab a corner rounder. And then we pre-cut some pieces. So the first thing we need is our white cardstock, 4 pieces of white cardstock that are 3 1/4 by 4 1/4. Okay. I'm just going to measure, make sure I cut the right size, because you know, measure once, cut twice. Okay, 3. Okay, so we need 4 of those. This is going to kind of be our base. And then I'm just going to take my corner rounder, and I'm going to round all of the corners in our 4 white cardstocks. Whoops. I don't know what I did to that one. It's okay. We'll put that one on the back. Hello, everybody. Welcome. We are just, for homework, we had cutting the 4 white cardstocks, And now I'm just rounding the corners for them. And evidently, I am not doing so hot at this rounding part. I'm going to flip it over so I can see what I'm doing. There we go. Okay, so I'm just rounding the corners. I love a rounded corner. It just kind of gives it that cute finished edge. And this rounder I really like because it has a small, medium, and large kind of round. Because sometimes you just never know what mood you're in. Okay, so we have 4 white ones that are all rounded. I also had you guys, you gotta have gold. I know we always have to have gold on something. So we're gonna do 2 golds that are 3 1/8 by 4 1/8. 3 1/8 by 4 1/8. Oh no, don't tell me we're having sound issues. I even used a different device than we've been using last time because I thought maybe it was my device that was acting up. So we're just going to round the gold. I want to say, can somebody tell me if the sound is okay for you guys? Because I'm not sure if it's on my end or Pam's end. Nope. Okay. Everybody else says it's good. Okay. I just wanted to check. I know our last virtual class we did, it was doing that weird gargly thing. So we switched devices and it seemed to work when we switched devices. Okay, good, good, good. So we have 4 white ones, we have 2 gold ones, and all the edges are rounded. All the edges are rounded on these, okay? So we're gonna start with 2 of our white ones. Let me just put these to the side. And what we have to do first is decorate our inside. So we're gonna decorate our inside. I had you cut the wood grain paper, 2 of them that were 3 by 4. 3 by 4 is going to be the wood grain paper. Now, since I only had 1 sheet of each in the kit, I'm going to use a teal paper that looks similar but not wood grain because I already used the wood grain. So I'm just using the teal one that has the words on it. Again, I'm going to round my corners so everything matches and coordinates. And all this cutting was on the homework I posted. We did post homework this time. I know it's very unusual for me to post homework because I like to do everything with you. But this time I thought, ooh, I got a little carried away. I got a little overambitious probably. And there's a lot to do. And I wanted to make sure we got through everything. So that's why I assigned some homework. So hopefully everybody got theirs done, and that's okay. Now we're just going to glue these down. So what they are is they are the wood grain. I'm doing the teal words, so mine are still teal to kind of look like yours, so they're similar. We're just going to glue these down to the center of your white panels. Okay? Center of your white panels. And these have words on them. If you're using the word ones, make sure your words are right side up. Right side up. Yeah, thank you, Gayan. Yes, I had them posted well in advance this time because I had my cards designed. Sometimes the homework doesn't get posted till Tuesday or Wednesday night because I'm very busy and I'm trying to get everything done, but I don't. And sometimes I don't get my cards done until the night before. That's why homework gets posted the night before. I wish there was more hours in the day, you know? Not enough hours in the day. Okay, so now we are going to do our ribbon. So the ribbon I grabbed is just the black gingham ribbon. This is the Fun Stamper's Journey. Use whatever ribbon you have. It's about a 1/4 of an inch wide. Oh, it's 3/8 of an inch wide. So 3/8 of an inch wide. It could be smaller, it could be wider, whatever you got. I did 2 pieces that are 6 1/4 and 2 pieces that are 5 1/4. Now I did not cut this yet, so let me just get that and we'll cut that. We need 6 1/4 and 5 1/4. So there's a 6. And a 6. We actually have a shop hop going on this week. So Wednesday and Thursday, we have that going. And then we have it Friday and Saturday also. So, and then our retreat is next weekend. So lots of stuff going on. Lots of exciting stuff. And all the new products keep arriving. All the fun new boxes. Okay, and 5 1/4. Okay, there's our ribbons. Now, the shorter ones are going to go for the straight, and the longer ones are going to go for your crisscross. And what we're going to do is we're going to crisscross. So, what they say, crisscross applesauce. Now, what I find is you don't want your crisscross to be really big. If your crisscross is really big, when you go to put your gift card in, it kind of falls out. But then also, you got to get your straight guys in. And these straight ones, if they're too far out, then your gift card won't grab in it. See? If it's too far out, your gift card won't grab it. So you want to make sure your crisscross is kind of tight. Kind of want a tight crisscross. And you want it in the center. Does that look centered? I think I'll spread it just a little bit there. Crisscross, we're just going to do a crisscross in the center, and I'm actually going to take a piece of, oh, I thought I had some on my camera stand. Where did it go? Oh, here's some on my thing. I'm going to take a little piece of washi tape, removable tape, whatever you want, and I'm going to put that there just so it holds it. So while I'm working, you're going to lift this panel up and sit it right down on top. Okay, so there's what we've got so far. Everybody got that? Are we good? We're just lifting and putting underneath. Okay, I think everybody's good. Then we're going to take our other pieces and we're going to kind of scoochy it in underneath this one. So it's just going to scoochy. And you're going to put it about halfway, but you're going to kind of scooch it up till you get to the bottom of that crisscross. And then we're going to do the same thing with the bottom one. We're going to scooch it on our cross. So you should have something that looks like this. Okay, has everybody got that? So our ribbon is, these legs are going under here. Your crisscross is going over here. And then these, you kind of all want to have together. We're going to kind of push it together, but you don't want it really, really tight. We're just going to kind of loosely kind of push it. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to shut the front door. So we're just going to close it down. We're going to shut the front door. Okay? Everybody got that? So these guys are our, oops, I just shifted. We'll shift. These guys are crisscrosses. What we're going to do is take a little piece of score tape, scotch tape, whatever you have, and we are going to bring those guys back and tape it. And then bring this one back and tape it. So these are our crisscrosses. These are our crisscross. Okay, so I'm going to open it back up. So that's our crisscross. Okay, I'm going to fold it back closed because now these guys need to wrap over too. So those are going to go closed. We're going to close it back up. I think I'm making this more complicated than it needs to be. Oh, let me put that back. I pulled him. Okay. We need to do our crisscross. So I'm just going to flip it this way. Nope. Sorry, guys. Oh my gosh, I just made a mess. This is what happens when you do it live. Let's start over. Oh my. Are these our long ones or short ones? My tape did not stay put. Let's crisscross again. I can't believe I did that. Yes, I can. I can. Okay, there's our crisscross. We're going to put our tape there. And you know what the easiest thing's going to be? Is flip this guy over now and fasten these two down so he doesn't move on us. We're going to do that. We're going to fasten the end ones before we fasten the other ones. So I'm just taking Scotch tape, score tape, whatever you have. And that is the crisscross. So the crisscross is just taped on the back side of this one. Okay? And then these are going to go underneath. I don't know if I left enough ribbon there. Let me shorten that ribbon a little bit. I don't think I left enough ribbon. Okay, so there's our crisscross. He's tied on the back. This little yellow is just to hold it there so we can maneuver. And we're just going to do this one at a time. I find it's going to be easier. So we're going to flip that over. And you want these guys to be butted up, but you don't want it to be like overlapping too tight. You want to have just a little crease. That way you can close it. So I'm going to kind of pull it apart just a little bit. And we're going to tape those guys down. And then I'm going to flip it. So what we've got now is our crisscross. So if we close it, you've got your crisscross there. You open it, you close it, your crisscross is there. So the outer covers have your crisscross. Does that make sense? Outer covers are going to have your crisscross. Then we've got the long guys, and we're going to sneak him, just like we did before, behind. And we're going to sneak him behind. So he comes up to that crisscross. Up to the crisscross. And I'm going to close it. And then we're going to fasten that leg down. Okay, and then when we close the other one, we'll flip to the back. And I'm just kind of pulling it tight as we do it, so it's not slouchy. So essentially the wings are just going over to the other side. Okay, so there is our part. And then we can take that guy off. Okay, did I lose anybody or are we okay? So essentially these are the long ones. This wing is glued to the back of here. This long wing is glued to the back of this one right there. Your crisscross, this one is glued to the back of here. And this crisscross is glued to the back of here. Okay, so when you close it, we've got that. And then when you open it, it flip-flops. Okay, are we good? Okay, I don't see any questions, so I think we have it. So now we're going to close it shut. And I didn't like all this stuff. I thought that was very ugly looking. So what we're going to do is take one of our white panels and we're going to put it over the top and cover that completely so we don't see any of that stuff there. We're going to cover it completely. Thank you, Amy. Thank you. Okay. Somebody's with me. Okay, so now we're going to, I'm just using the Helmar 450 because it gives me a little bit of wiggle room. It's going to hold that ribbon down. It's going to hold that cardstock down. It's going to hold everything down. And we're just going to glue that to the top of that front one. So what it's going to do now is it's going to hide that ribbon. My first one I made, I just matted it and I didn't like that on the outside, and then I got my tape. So this is my sloppy copy. My tape was too close to the edge. I didn't like the ribbon on the outside peekabooing there. So I decided to just cover that panel completely on the front. We're going to flip it and we're going to completely cover the panel on the back too. So both panels are completely covered. Just tapping it, make sure everybody's lined up. Okay, then we have the two gold. I'm going to put one on the front, one on the back. It's just going to center it. So you're going to have a little bit of white all the way around the outside edge. A little bit of white. And again, I'm just using the Helmar 450. I really like this stuff for shiny papers, mirror papers, glitter papers, all those weird papers that you can't get stuff to stick to. I like to use that shiny gold. Okay, so there's one on the front, and then we'll put one on the back. Actually, I think I'm on the front now. I flipped and I flopped. And then we'll just put a gold in the center of that. So now we've got just a little bit of white edge. We've got it opened, and then there's our other piece. And then if you want to close it and open it the other way, you can close and open it the other way. Okay. Then I had you guys do a pattern paper. The pattern paper you're going to use is the flowers, the really pretty wildflower ones. Again, there's only one sheet in each one, so I used mine. So I'm going to use something white and similar. So I'm using the hearts. This is the one that you're cutting 3 by 4, 3 by 4, and then we're going to corner round it again. Make sure I get the right size. We're going to put one on the front and one on the back of that gold. And I'm going to use, since the paper is thinner, these printed ones are, I'm just using my Nuvo glue. Okay, there we go. So we have our inside with our little teal. We've got our crisscross. Now we've got our interactive card, and now it comes down to decorating it. We are down to decorating. So the paper that we cut, the scrap piece we have is this teal piece right here. It is already, it's the scrap that we had left over. So it's 2 inches wide. So we're going to grab that. And then I wanted to use the embossing folder. So we're going to grab a piece of white scrap. This is what I had on here as 1 3/4 by 3 1/4. I haven't cut it yet. So what I like to do when I do embossing is I like to emboss it first and then cut it, because sometimes it has a tendency to shrink when you emboss the papers, and I want it to be the correct size. So let me just grab my Big Shot. I'm going to grab my embossing folder, and I'm going to put that on there. I don't really care where it's at. I'm going to lightly spritz it with some water so it doesn't crack and break on me. And then I'm going to put it in here and just emboss it. Now with the 3D folders, I like to go back and forth a couple times. It kind of works itself through the cardstock. So I usually do it 2 or 3 times. And then we have our embossed cardstock. Okay. I use the deboss side. You can use the emboss side. Use whatever size you want. We're going to cut it down to 1 3/4. 1 3/4 by 3 1/4. And it should fit perfectly on this piece of paper. Yep, our little teal. So we're going to have our teal piece of paper, and I'm just going to glue it on, and then I'm just going to snip the hangover. And I'm using deboss side, which is pressed down. You can use the emboss side, which is pressed up. It's whatever you want to use. Oh, yes. Looks beautiful with silver too. Yes, absolutely. And this folder looks fabulous embossed with those metallic mirrors and metallic cardstocks. Oh my gosh, it is gorgeous. Okay, so I'm just chopping off that hangover. And we're going to take that piece and then just glue it right there on the front. Is that not adorable? I like this version too. The hearts are cute. The wildflowers are cute. It's all cute. And I love the frog in this set. I kind of wish it had a frog die cut that matched that. I just loved this adorable little frog. But no die cuts of him. Okay, then in the ephemera pack, I had you guys grab the flowers, the leafy looking thing, and then the frog. These are all from the die cut pack. I'm just going to glue the flowers flat. Clean that little glue booger off there. That's why I wear aprons, because I just wipe it all over me. Because I can't be bothered to hunt for a rag. Okay, so those are glued flat. And then we're going to pop this adorable little frog. Because he's a frog, so he's got to pop. And we'll just put him right there. Adorable. Last thing we're going to do, we got to add some bling. You need a finishing touch. So this is the brand new, and so new, I haven't even checked it in yet. It arrived. I'm working on checking it in. It's on my to-do list. These are the brand new bling. They only came out with one color from Pink Fresh, and it is called Clear Dots with Gold Dust. Clear Dots with Gold Dust. So what we're going to do is put a little dot on each of these flowers because it just needs a little bling. looking for my bling stick. So these, they're really cute. I don't know if you can see, but they've got just a little speck of bling. My eyes aren't working to tell me which side's the right side up. And I only got little ones out. Oh well. Okay, there we go. So we're just adding a little bit of bling because every flower has to have an embellishment of some sort. And I love these little trays and the little zipper bag because you can just put those in there and keep going. All right, so there is card number 1. And then, oh, look at that, 30 minutes. We're doing good. And then you can put your gift card in here or some money or whatever you want. And then you can take it and flip it. And how cute is that? And again, you can do it landscape, portrait, whatever you want. Okay, so that is card number 1. Let me move my stuff out of the way. How's everybody doing? Is anybody crafting along or are we just taking notes? Both is A-okay. Okay, so this next one, we're going to play with some techniques. So we're going to do this fun shaker card. But the first thing we need to do is do our background. We got to craft, do that. I was reading, crafting along. Thank you, guys. Thank you, thank you. Okay, so in your kit, you have this piece of paper. It's kind of a, it's a card front size. It's kind of a light, we're going to call it a light blue. You want to grab that in your embossing folder. You also want to grab, I'm gonna put a lot of things up here at once. I'm gonna need my die cutting machine. This guy, your embossing folder. Maybe I put this machine to the side and then bring them in. Never enough table space, you know? So what we want to do is we want the deboss side. So the side that is going to push down into the paper, which is essentially the back side, okay? So back side. So it is not the one with the name on it, okay? Not the one with the name on it. It's the back side. You're going to grab your clear embossing ink, and essentially what we're doing is we're going to kind of letter press it. I'm going to take my brayer and brayer it on. The first time I did this, I rubbed my ink pad on, and I felt like I got ink in areas that I didn't want my ink to be. So I'm going to try it with a brayer this time and see if it's any cleaner. I don't know if it's going to or not, but we'll see. So I'm just brayering ink on. This is clear embossing ink. I like the Wow embossing ink. I think it is the best one out there. It's always juicy. It's always sticky. You don't have to work really fast with it. And I'm using a brayer because I think I can control the ink a little bit better than getting it all over the place. Okay, so I've brayered my clear ink on, my clear embossing ink. And then I'm going to take my piece of paper and I'm going to lay it on and I'm going to shut the front door. So essentially what we're going to do is we're going to kind of better press it. We're going to better press the ink in and see what happens. Ooh, the Switch Plus thinks the folder is too thick. Take a layer out because I'm just using my regular Big Shot fold away with my tab 1 and 2 closed and 1 clear plate. So make sure you're just using 1 clear plate, not 2. Okay, and like I said, I'm just going to run it through a couple times because I want to get that ink on there. So I'm essentially trying to better press that ink down into that image. Okay, let me move this out of the way. Then I'm going to grab my clear embossing powder. So what it's going to do is we want to, yes. Yes, I can see the sticky in there. That did exactly what I wanted it to do. We're going to take our clear embossing powder, and essentially what we want to happen is the embossing powder just to go into that debossed area. So that pushed in area, and it's going to create like a resist. Okay. And I will show you in a minute. I got it in spots on the top again, but I found if I just take and rub my hand lightly over it, it'll take the powder off of the top area and leave it down in that recessed area. Okay, so this is just clear embossing powder. What it's going to do is it's going to create a resist. Okay, I'm going to give it a good tap, try to get the stuff. If you have stuff on the top, all I'm going to do is just lightly rub my finger over the top, and it will bring that powder off of your raised areas, and it'll leave the powder down in that recessed area. And if you feel like you rubbed too much powder off in one area, go ahead and add some more. Okay, I think I have it the way I want it. I'm going to go ahead and put my powder back in my jar. I'm notorious for if I don't put the powder or the glitter or whatever I'm working with immediately back in the jar and put the lid on it, I'm going to spill it. I don't want to spill it. I don't mean to spill it. It's just how the cookie crumbles, and that's what I do. Oh, perfect, Kathy, perfect. I was saying, if in a doubt, it always means there's one too many layers. One too many layers. Okay, so now we're going to heat this guy up. So we are essentially going to cook that embossing powder. Now, I'm using the Ranger heat tool. It is not ideal for embossing, but I do like it because it's quieter, so it takes a little bit longer to do embossing powders because it disperses the heat more instead of doing it centralized. So it'll work for embossing powders. It just takes a little longer because it's made more for drying sprays and paints and things like that. But it works for embossing. You just have to go a little longer with it. And this by itself is beautiful. You could just leave it like this and it makes my heart sing. You wouldn't even have to do the next steps. It just gives it that nice glossy kind of wet look. And remember, it's clear, so it's not changing the color of the cardstock or anything, but that clear kind of glossy gives it a little bit of like a tone-on-tone look, which is really pretty too. Monochromatic. Okay, don't need the embossing pad anymore. Let me clean some of these items out of the way because we don't need them anymore. Get some of that loose powder off the table. Okay, so this is what we've got. If you you can look at it, you can see it has, see how it has that gloss down in that embossed? So we kind of did like a letterpress, and we did embossing powder with it. So it's kind of a cool, fun technique, and you could totally leave this guy the way he is, and he looks cool. But I'm going to do more. I'm going to kick it up. And of course the embossed image is just as pretty. You could do the same thing on this side. But I really want to play with the debossed area. Can you see that? I'm trying to hit it in the light. So yeah, you can see kind of that glossy. So that's a fun technique to kind of play with. I'm going to kick it up a notch level because I'm going to add a little bit more. So what I'm adding is some gold luster wax. Now, you might have the Prima brand. This is the Sizzix brand. Creative, I think it's Creative Imagine. Creative something. Deanna's not here to help me. Creative, whatever their waxes are. There's tons of different waxes out on the market. So use whatever you have. Use what you have. I do not like to get this wax on my craft mat because it is hard to get off the wax because it sticks to non-porous things too. So what I'm going to do is just scoop a little out and I'm going to put it on a piece of paper. And I'm going to work from that. And then also, I'm not sticking my finger in the jar. A lot of the vendors have said, we've complained, we're like, oh, the wax is molding. Why is my wax molding? And they're like, well, did you stick your contaminated finger in it? And I'm like, maybe. So that's what causes the mold. So if you can avoid sticking your finger in the jar, that'll help keep that contamination down. So I'm just taking my finger and I'm buffing it on. You could totally take the little Tim Holtz blending tools because they fit down in the jar too. You could totally use that guy and apply the waxes that way too. Those new little baby blending tools that Tim Holtz came out with, those work great for the waxes. So I'm just going around, no rhyme or reason, and I'm just adding my wax. Now, the embossing powder that we put underneath it is pretty much resisting kind of that wax. And I found if I got too much wax in one area and I felt like, oh, it's not, like right there, oh, it's not resisting enough, I was able to take a rag or something and go in and wipe that off of the embossing powder if you want to. You can kind of wipe some off. Polish, like shoe polish? I wouldn't. Prima has an entire line of waxes that I need a little bit more, that I absolutely love because they come in a little tube that you can squirt out so you don't get the contamination in it. Comes in a little tube and tons of colors. They have metallics, they have mattes, they have iridescence, so many fun colors. I think there's probably 50, 60 colors that they've got. And they work on resin, it works on wood, metal, plastic. It pretty much will stick to anything. And it just looks great on the embossing folders. Okay, so I'm just kind of rubbing it in. And you could totally use this on the emboss. So this is the side we're using because I love this. But what I'm going to use on the back, so I'm just going to show you what it looks like on the back. Oh, luster polish. Yep, you can totally use those too. Looks good on this side as well. See how pretty that looks on the embossed side? Cosmetic metallic gilding polishes, yep, use those too. Those will work too. All of them are kind of essentially the same, just a little bit different formulas on different vendors. But you will see it kind of makes your finger pretty for a while. It does, like I said, it sticks to non-porous things. But there's that on there. So that's the emboss side, but I really like the deboss side. I think that just looked fabulous because you have a little bit of teal poking through. It's kind of resisting it with that glossy embossing powder. So I was happy with that. I really liked how those turned out. Okay, so what we're going to do, we still have time, look at this, is I'm going to turn it into a shaker card. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to die cut this out. I've got a square, and you can use any nesting dies you have. There is no rhyme, there's no reason. This is why Deanna and I preach to you guys nesting dies. Nesting dies are a tool that you can use over and over again. If you have scallop dies, the wonky edges, the pin needle ones, I mean, any nesting dies you have, these are tools because you can use them in so many ways. So you can use them over and over. The ones I'm using are just the A2 precision layerings. And I'm using 1, 2, 3, I'm using the 5th one in. So let me just measure it for you. Like I said, use whatever nesting die you have. This is 3 1/4 by 4 1/2. 3 1/4 by 4 1/2 is the size of the die that I'm using. And let me grab my die cutting machine again. I'm using a metal die now, so I have to switch my base out. So I have my magnetic base. I love it. My iCrafter self-healing mat. And I'm going to put my piece of paper on. And then I'm going to stick my die on to die cut it. And because it's magnetic, it's going to grab it. And I'm trying to center it the best I can. Looks pretty good. And then I'm just going to die cut it. Didn't really smush my image because we did a lot of layers and stuff on there. So it didn't smush it. So we are good to go on that. Now we have 2 pieces. We've got the outer frame, which is what we're going to use. And then we have this piece. So you can use this piece as a background on another one, or you can flip it and do the reverse of it. So you have another piece that you can already use on something. Okay, let me dump my card number 2. So for card number 2, I told you to grab an A2 white card base. That is what is already in your kit. The A2 card base is already in your kit. The dragonfly paper. Ooh, I did not grab me another piece of paper. Grab another piece of paper. The dragonfly paper, because that just matched that turquoise and the flowers. So good. And I just love dragonflies. I thought it was very appropriate. So let me just find a different piece of paper that's going to match my frame, because you guys will have that. I do not. I might go that one. Ooh, I might use the rainbows. No, I think I kind of like the stripes. Or let me see what Diane used. Maybe I'll use a piece of paper Diane used. Let me see. We have to share, so I take out what she uses so I don't use it. Nope, I'm using that white one. Or maybe the rainbows. I don't know. I'm going to pull those 2 out. Okay, so you grab dragonflies. We need to cut the dragonflies 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And that was on your homework to cut those. I'm going rainbows because I don't want the print to be too big. So 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 is what we're going to cut this. Oh, Diane used the stripes on ins. I think my kit had a bonus stripe. I had 2 stripes in mine. Did anybody else have 2 stripes in theirs? I had 2 stripes in mine. But you guys are using dragonflies. Use the dragonflies. Okay, so we're just going to put the rainbows on the front. Okay, just the rainbows on the front. Then we need to grab a piece of acetate because we have to put our acetate for our window. So we're going to put that 2 word papers. Oh, you got a bonus one. Kathy got a bonus word paper. You had some quality control on that one, huh? So I'm going to grab my acetate and we're going to cut it 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. Which is mine already that size? Oh, it's too tall. Okay, so we got our acetate cut. We are going to put some score tape. So tape that is flat. We want flat tape down first to hold the acetate. That'll go on the back. And I just use score tape or suquang or whatever you guys call it. I know Lawn Fawn has some. They call it terrible tape. T-E-A-R. Terrible. Lawn Fawn loves their puns. I think it's adorable. Terrible. Not that it sucks, just because you can tear it. Okay, we're going to pull those off. And this is on the back of that piece that we embossed and kind of waxed with those cool, fun techniques. I hope you guys play with those techniques. I cannot wait to see what you guys come up with. I love seeing everybody's cards and inspirations. Okay, so now we have that down. Now we need to pop it. Now we got to go in with our foam tape. And we got to build that barrier. We got to pop it up. And I'm using the number 50, I call it the number 54 foam tape. It is kind of what I call the regular height. And then the 108 is the one I call the half the height. So that is the low one, the low. So this one is the regular height. Oh, almost had enough. Gotta make sure to close those gaps, because if not, your sequins are going to rain out. And how adorable was this mix of sequins? Oh my gosh. So adorable. So adorable. So then we're just going to sprinkle our sequins in. And I try to make sure when I put my sequins in that they're all laying flat. Because if you kind of have it doubled up on each other, it bows your acetate and then your Ghibli bits don't shake very well. So I try to make sure everybody's kind of spread out and single layered. Okay, and then we're going to peel off our backing and put our frame on. Oops, I did not center that very well. So I will probably put it in my trimmer and just chop that off. Or do I trust myself with a big old honking pair of scissors? I didn't center it very well. Not too shabby. There we go. And then the last thing to do is just, there's our shaker card. So the last thing to do is to just add your little ephemeras. So I had you guys pull all these as homework, and I just kind of mixed and matched and glued some flat, popped some up, and kind of built layers and interest. So the first one I started with is the main piece, and I did put some pop dots on the back of them, but I only put like 3 kind of in the center. So that left room, I'm just gonna put 2 on this one, to poke and put things in and behind, okay? And you don't wanna go off the bottom of your card, but you can go off the side of your card. And then I'm gonna glue my leaves down flat. And when I put my leaves and things on, I only kind of spot check the glue. I don't cover the whole back of the thing with glue because I want it still to have some movement to it. Oh, thank you, Debbie. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for the kind words. So I hope everybody is really enjoying these crafty hours. I hope you guys are learning some new stuff. As always, make sure to post your versions of them because we love to see what you're making and creating with our crafty hours. Okay. So thank you for joining me tonight, and thank you for joining Diane today at noon. If you missed her live, you can go back and catch her on the replay on Clipper Street's page. And then tomorrow, ooh, Amy says she's very excited for tomorrow's reveal. It's going to be amazing. Be amazing. There's your hint. I told you guys something was coming and not to hurry and get it somewhere else and to trust us. So you're going to love tomorrow. It is another fabulous kit, and we are adding some extra stuff to it to kind of beef the kit up like we always like to. So just kind of adding and tucking my little embellishments in here. So yeah, so hopefully you guys are enjoying these. You're learning lots. We want to see what you guys come up with. And remember, tomorrow we will announce the new one at 11 o'clock Central, 9 o'clock Pacific. Will be the announcement of Crafty Hour number 39. It'll be amazing. And we're beefing it up. We're adding some more fun stuff. The little dragonfly, I just kind of take and bend her wings a little bit so she's flying. And I'm just going to put a little bit of glue right there on her, kind of her belly. Okay. And then the last thing is the sentiment from the chipboard set. On mine, I did the Beautiful You. On this one, I'm going to use the Treasured. And I'm going to put a little pop dot right behind this one. Probably a half a pop dot. Because it's going to lay flat on the card, and these stickers to me don't seem to be very sticky, so I just add a little liquid glue to it. Behave until then. Yes, behave until then. It's adorable. You guys are gonna love it. It's another one of our favorite vendors, and the minute we saw this, we were like, oh my god, this is such a crafty hour. Nouveau glue is what I'm using here. This is the Nouveau. that I have in my glue press. And then my other glue I'm using is the Helmar 450, the quick dry. Those are the two glues that I've been using. Okay, and then there is our last card with that fun, I love it with the rainbows too. It's cute with the rainbows, with our fun shaker. So there's those guys. Let me bring these two back in. So we've got the cute little magic gift card wallet, which would be cute for Father's Day, Mother's Day, graduations coming up. There's so many different things you can do with that. If you missed out on grabbing this Crafty Hour kit, we do have 2 left at Scrapbook-N-Memories. They are on our website. You can grab them there. And I think Deanna said she had a couple left, so give Clipper Street an email or a call in the morning, and they can get you taken care of. So thank you, everybody. I hope you're enjoying these crafty hours. Thank you for spending your late night with me. This was so much fun to do. And we will see you guys tomorrow for the announcement of Crafty Hour 39. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful night and happy crafting. Bye-bye.